What's up, Cloud Gamers? Welcome to another episode of CGX Cast. This is episode number 33. Guys, put your seatbelt on, man. Buckle up because this show is going to be absolutely insane. We have so much to talk about today. The goal is to get through it all. But yeah, I think we will. But yeah, this should be a fun one because we're going to get a lot of mixed reception here. Again, we have Google Stadia news. As you guys know, there was a stealth drop for Stadia. There was a big game that was released this week. Overall, I thought Google Stadia had a great week, but it's going to be interesting to see what the panel has to say. Xbox, we heard about Outriders come to Game Pass day and date release, which is absolutely incredible. And then a couple of games was released, and then xCloud, Microsoft held pretty much introductory to what xCloud is about. And in that introductory video, they stated that Cloud's PC support and browser support should be coming soon. So we're going to get into that. Luna released a game this week, which was shock, and it's a pretty good game. So we'll talk about that. And then the biggest I would say this week is GeForce Now news. As you guys know, they gave us a blueprint or roadmap as to what's coming for this platform for this year, and a lot of good stuff to talk about. Plus, we got some game releases. So we'll get into all of that. I told you guys it's going to be an insane week. So buckle up, guys. But today we have a guest in the show. We shouldn't even call him a guest. I mean, he's family here. He's been here multiple times. So Chase the gaming Duncan is so Chase the gaming advocate's our guest for today. Chase, how are you, sir?
Good. You said the news was busy this week. That's an understatement.
Yeah.
I think some of the journalists this week were like, please stop. I am not meeting my deadlines. But no, overall, just good week. We were talking before we went live. Work's been a little crazy, but gaming is always a nice way to kind of get away from, the craziness that is life sometimes, and just to be able to kind of relax and recharge. And I think that's one of the beautiful things. And we got a lot of positive stuff this week from all of these platforms. So I'm curious to talk about it.
For sure. Again, Chase, always good to have you in here. But let's introduce the panel. We have Hell Monkey here, who is a new member to CGX, and it's good to have him be here too on the panel. So we'll talk to Hell Monkey in a bit too. But let's introduce this panel. I see Ben in the background. I don't know what's going on for him. Let me read this. Okay, I'm back. All right, so we're gonna bring him in. Hopefully you can hear us, Ben. There we go. Cool. So we got a full freaking panel. So this is gonna be intense and insane, but I'm excited for it. So let's get started. Let's start with you, Mark. How are you, sir? What have you been up to? What have you been playing? Also, what platform have you been using?
I'm good to be here as always. I was barely even just scratching the surface of the Bethesda load from last week, and then Microsoft right back at it again this week. Here's 60 other EA titles for you to check out. I don't have that sort of time. But this week I was looking I played a little bit of we talked about it last week, Blue Fire. It was the one that came out last month, went under my radar until Stadia announced it was coming, but there was no date for Stadia. It was just coming soon. But it was one of those where once I saw it, I'm a child and I wanted to play it straight away. So I just bought it on Steam, and I've been playing that on Shadow, and it's pretty good.
Good to hear. Yeah, I remember you talking about that. So I see it's pretty cool that you actually pulled the trigger and got it instead of waiting for Stadia to get it. Cool. How about you, Ben? What you been up to? What have you been playing? What platform have you been using to play it?
I've been mainly on Xbox for the last week, just trying to catch up with everything.
Yeah.
So much Game Pass stuff to play, and it's just, man, it's ridiculous.
It's insane, right? How excited were you for the news of Game Pass coming to PC with the 60 games and all of that?
I've only played Game Pass on PC a couple of times, but that's super exciting news because I have so many friends that want it but don't want to buy an Xbox, and that's just amazing.
True. Cool. Good to have you, Ben. How about you, Jerry, GTP? How are you, sir? What have you been up to? What game have you been playing? What platform?
It's like when you think Game Pass can't become any more valuable, here you go, guys. Here's more games for the same money you're already paying.
Yeah.
I'm in testing phase, so I've literally been gaming everywhere from Stadia, Luna, GeForce Now. But a lot like Ben, my real gaming time has been on my Series X. And like Mark said, I'm still absorbing Bethesda and the games on Game Pass there and testing those, and then we got FPS boost right after that, and so then I'm right into that. So Prey and Sniper Elite 4 with the FPS boost, that's what I've been playing most.
So it's pretty cool to see a lot of cloud gamers are actually purchasing Xbox consoles, especially the Series S and X. I feel like that's a pretty interesting combination, right? You guys I would say cloud gamers are not that excited for PS5, it seems, compared to Xbox. I think that's a pretty interesting connection. But let's check in with Duncan. How are you today, sir? What have you been playing? What platform have you been using? And I think
Yes, I actually remembered to unmute myself. Like everybody else is saying, my Xbox has been my primary place I've been playing this week, but I have been playing on some GFN as well. We actually hosted a bit of a Among Us playthrough last night. My first time actually playing that game. That was my first ever go at that last night.
That was a lot of fun to watch.
And I had a lot of fun on that. And I'm trying to think what game has really sucked me away this week, and it'd probably be Assassin's Creed 2. I'm going a bit of a retro thing, and I've been playing a bit of Assassin's Creed 2 on the Series X. And again, I know Jerry's been talking about this for a while. Playing remotely from your own Xbox, it is an absolute game changer. And when they get that up to the cloud itself, and you're just playing it like that, and you can do it like it's going to be absolutely amazing.
True. Just taking a quick sec to say what's up to you guys. A lot of you guys are on here. What's up, everyone? Thank you for joining. And it's quite interesting because I just realized we don't have the members as mods. So as the podcast is going, I'm just going to mod you all up. But just wanted to take a sec to say what's up. But let's check in with Holt, sir. How have you been? What have you been playing? What platform have you been using?
So I've been playing 2 games from last week, so I'm still getting through Crash Bandicoot About Time and also Forza Motorsport 7. But I also been playing FIFA 21 and Dragon Quest 11 on Stadia this week as well.
Yeah. How has that experience been?
Well, the whole point is I haven't been put much time into FIFA 21 because I showed my nephew, who's 7, how to play FIFA on Stadia on his iOS. So because it's family shared, he's been playing it too much. So I'm not going to take access away from him. So I've just been focusing more on Dragon Quest. But when I can steal a few time, I actually play it. So it's been a great experience for me and my family.
Yeah, that's nice of you to sacrifice FIFA. Let your
if it was a more violent game, they'll be instantly blocked because it's FIFA.
Yeah.
Play it. We have to create new stadiums. Go ahead, mate. Go and play the game.
Cool. Good to have you on here, Holtz. All right, so Hell Monkey, new member of CGX. How are you doing, sir? What game have you been playing, and what platform have you been using, sir?
Yeah, I'm very well. Thank you very much for including me this week. Across a number of different platforms, GeForce Now, I've been playing through the free-to-play games, testing them out, and I have sunk a lot of time into Path of Exile. That has just gripped me big time. It's such a beautiful and easy-to-play game. Other than that, I was playing Doom 2016 last night because I am determined to finish that before I go on to Doom Eternal. I don't want to miss anything from the story because I've played all the previous Doom games.
Yeah.
And I'm going to throw something out here which probably a lot of people might not know about. I've been using Antstream Arcade recently, which is like a retro streaming games platform. And they have weekly tournaments. And this week is Rampage, if you remember that old arcade game. So yeah, I've sunk a lot of time into that as well. In between picking up all the gaming news for the channel as well. So it's been a busy week gaming and working.
That's awesome. I don't know how you guys do it, man. Once a like newer game comes out, like if I know Doom Eternal is out, like Doom 2016 is done for me, but kudos to you for just wanting to finish it before you hop onto Eternal. That's awesome. Good willpower there, for sure. How about you, Chase? What you been up to, sir? Good to have you on here as well. But what have you been playing? What platform have you been using to play it as of late?
So 3 platforms this week. GeForce Now for Siege, and that's just because being portable, being able to play, anywhere in my home to be able to play that game. So that's always nice. On Stadia, I've actually jumped into Journey to the Savage Planet just because I was curious and wanted to see how it is. I've enjoyed it so far. I think it's a good game. Darksiders Genesis, I bought that last year, didn't put enough time into it, so I want to get that out of my backlog so that's done. And then over on the Xbox, just been playing a little bit more of the Outriders demo, just getting ready for that when it drops. I'm really excited about that game. So those have been the 3 main things, or 3 main platforms.
Yeah, cool. Again, Chase, good to have you on here for sure, and pretty cool to see you trying GeForce Now and other services for sure. But NBA 2K has been the game I've been playing. Again, it's free for Stadia. I think tomorrow might be the last day for it, right? But it's free. You guys hop on, man. That game is a lot of fun. They've patched the hell out of that game. That game used to have a lot of issues with connected to park, but it's definitely playable. And I streamed it on Twitch, and it was pretty interesting because we were comparing, right, the amount of people who were at the park on Xbox compared to Google Stadia. And to our surprise, at I believe it was like 10:30 p.m., Stadia had more people at the park than xCloud or Xbox Game Pass, which was huge. So again, I think they're doing something right with the free-to-play week or weekend. This started Tuesday, normally starts Thursday, so it's like they had a pretty big extension. But yeah, that's the game. And then Dragon Quest, give that a little try. That game is incredible, and people should definitely check it out if you are into Japanese RPGs. But yeah, that's been my gaming session this week. I think next week is again gonna be insane, so we'll be back here to talk about next week for sure. But let's get started to the conversations for this week, right? We know of Amazon Luna launching to more mobile devices. From what I'm hearing, the Galaxy S21, the S21 Plus, and the S21 Ultra are the new phones that are gonna support Luna. Just want to get y'all's feedback on the panel, and anyone hop in. What's your take on this slow Luna launch cycle with mobile devices? Google Stadia kind of did this, right? But they got to the point where they were like, all right, we're going to put a beta to where anyone can pretty much test it at your own risk. Do you feel like Luna should do the same, or are you guys comfortable with these little additions to mobile devices? So let's get your take on this. Host, where do you want to go with this one?
Well, all I can say is when I actually seen it, I was like, well done, Luna, getting the big, huge flagships of mobiles devices, because a lot of people, when they actually buy new tech, they sort of excited to try something new. So for anyone who's buying the new S20 range, 21 range, will actually have this great time to actually test Luna. I mean, for me, I don't actually have that phone to actually test it or the service. So to me, it's not really exciting at the moment, but it's great to see that maybe next year when it comes to the UK, maybe by them supporting the likes of the Samsung, which is my platform of choice when I choose phone, Luna will be fully supported.
Yeah, true. Good point. Jerry, what's your take on the S21 lineup being supported by Luna?
Yeah, I mean, of course it's good. The more devices they can get, the more people can try it out. We always talk about the slow move that they're doing. They have a pretty slow pace, kind of slow bacon Luna. And for me personally, I've said a lot. I think that's great. That's what I want them to do. Be in early access as long as you need to, for the most part. By spring next year, I think they need to be full blown. But I think they'll be out of this phase way before then anyway. But no, it's great to see it come to those devices. And I was really surprised when it launched that iPhone actually had more support than a lot of the Android devices, and it's never that way, especially with cloud gaming. So that was cool anyway. But I'm really happy to see them get that on here. Hopefully, more people will give it a shot.
Cool. And Mark, what's your take on this news?
Yeah, I think you kind of said it's a similar blueprint to what we saw with Stadia, with the slow rollout of kind of Android and the way they did it device by device. I do predict that eventually they will go to this, you know what, across the board support. Some phones may work better than others. Obviously, this is their list of officially supported ones. I have the S21, so I was excited to hear this. Now I'm obviously just missing the vital piece, which I will complain about week in, week out until we get it.
Yeah.
The salt level remains high.
Cool. And Ben, what's your take on this?
You know, I have an S21. I just haven't had a chance to
lucky
test.
you.
Haven't had a chance to test it yet on there. I probably will right after this, though.
Did you even know it released on that?
I didn't know it until I saw the show notes a little bit ago.
Interesting. Well, there you go. Cool. Awesome. Yeah, I can't wait to hear about your experience. Tell me after you test it out for sure.
For sure.
Duncan, yeah. Duncan, what's your take on this news?
That's good news, and I think everybody in chat's just loving that they can't see Holt's. Everywhere I can see the chat messages are, so he's looking a lot better.
Yeah. Okay, so let's get to Hal Monkey in this, man. What's your take on the news?
Yeah, look, the slow rollout, I think they're learning from maybe Stadia's mistakes, you know, coming out saying we're going to do this, we're going to do that. They're just slowly rolling everything out, you know, as and when it's ready. A little bit surprising that it's only these recent Samsung models, you know, if they want to have Amazon Luna in everyone's hands, maybe it'll come, you know, onto older devices, you know, in the Android range, much like Stadia did. But yeah, maybe they'll just want to go down the route where they make sure it's working first, and it's going to work on that device. There's no risk to the user, so it's going to be a good experience. And yeah, you can't disagree with the way that they're going, you know.
Yeah. Okay. Chase, what's your take on this news?
It's positive. You know, again, Luna is moving in a, like you've all said, they're being very methodical and being measured in their approach. They've intentionally used the word beta because they don't want anyone to get any thought or idea that it's in a full rollout. There's always blessings and curses with that. Sometimes perception is on one side of it that you're taking forever, you know, and you're not ready to come to market. And sometimes consumers get a little concerned on that. But on the flip side of it, when you see these types of moves before they're focusing in on devices that they know are the popular ones, and these are the Samsung and iPhones and vice versa, when you go down the line, they're going to be the most popular phone. So they're doing very similar to what Google did. They're focusing on the popular ones, getting those rolled out, and then they'll start focusing on other Android devices. So no surprise there.
True. Good point. So my take on this situation is just like, you know, you guys joke about it's in beta, right? So we would give them slack. My thing is, all right, y'all are pretty much picking up every bad thing that Google Stadia did to improve yourself, right? To make yourself a better platform, right? This is something Google Stadia struggled with, but they found a solution, right? They, again, did the thing to where they made it a beta and anyone can pretty much use Google Stadia on any device at your own risk. Why don't they just do that? I just don't get that. And then the other thing is they skipped a Galaxy lineup, right? The Fold came out before the S series, and I still cannot access Luna on my Fold 2. So y'all leaving me out on this one. But again, like you guys will say, it's beta, give them flag. I'm not giving Luna. I don't care if they've like beta or not, man. They've had enough time to learn from, you know, Google Stadia and other people's mistake. I'm not cutting them the beta slack, man. They gotta y'all are too comfortable with giving Luna the beta slack, I feel.
Or maybe they're just doing that so they can actually hype it all up with the flagship titles. So they're saying at the moment, you can all wait, but we'll push the narrative with these big, huge mobile phones people are interested in.
You think so? I don't know. We'll
Yeah,
see.
I mean, because I joke about like the level of salt that it's, you know, only available in the US, and we can see it's only available certain devices, and we completely get the careful stance they're taking, the step-by-step approach, but they are going a little bit slow to the point where they're, we talk about it week in, week out. This is one of the fastest moving industries, and it is very easy to get left behind. So yes, understandably, be careful, take your time, make the right moves, but also keep up, right?
Yeah.
But at the same time, like Stadia launched in November of 2019. And it was, unless you bought a Premier Edition, you could not play Stadia until like March. So we're still kind of in that phase where they're not really playing that far behind what Stadia did with their rollout.
Okay. So you're saying by this month they should like figure this stuff out?
I mean, I think we give them until like May, but after that, that's kind of they're kind of pushing it, especially if they want New Worlds. When is that coming out? Like summer?
August.
Yeah. They got to be out of beta before that.
So we're giving them to May. Come May, we'll revisit this, and if they're still slow, we'll give them some flack.
Hey, Luna's like, hey, we're doing the hare and the tortoise. Yeah, the tortoise won the race, slow and steady, all the way up to August. That's fine with me. Wait until they have a big game, and then I'll jump on it.
See, here's the thing. I'm willing to give them a lot of slack with the beta because they are adding things to it. If we're going to just, if they weren't adding things, I think we could give them slack, but they're going to be in beta for a while. It seems, I think we're talking another 6, 7, 8 months. I think we're not going to see it come out from beta until maybe New World in August. I think but again, this is what we want. We want everybody to be different, get the discussion going, but I'm willing to give them a hell of a lot more time, because if we're not giving xCloud a hell of a lot of grief, and they're still in beta, and they've just went into beta because we're in alpha before. It's as long as I can see progress, I think they can keep the beta tag for a bit longer.
Well,
Go ahead.
No, carry on, Chase. Carry on.
No, it was going to be quick. That's why I was saying before that betas can be a blessing and a curse, because it's all about perception. And it depends on what you're doing and the level that you're doing it at and what consumers are seeing. So if you're in beta and you don't see a lot of movement in that beta, to kind of what Duncan was saying about adding features and adding things, then consumers are going to go, well, wait a minute, how long is this going to go? And how long are you going to do this, versus meeting kind of a slow roadmap, if you will, to move towards that launch phase. So there's good things behind it, and there can also be bad things behind it. It's not necessarily foolproof that beta gives you, to your point, Ace, full protection from criticism.
Okay, fair enough. Hellmonkey, what were you going to say about?
I was just going to ask a question, and that was, do we think that Luna will launch in beta across more territories and regions, or will they wait until a full launch to come out of the US market?
I think they're going to expand their beta internationally. It just makes sense, especially like if they're wanting to test the service before it comes out, and if their goal is to launch internationally, it just makes, unless they plan to stay in the US for this whole year, which I don't see happening, but I would assume, right, that they will launch in other countries before it comes out of beta. It's just my take.
Yeah.
All right, so let's move to the game that was announced for Luna this week. And again, I just want to say this, right? 3rd week in a row to where we've seen a game release on Luna. So we can debunk the whole theory that Luna only releases 1 game a month, right? Lately, I don't know what's been going on, but the day is on Thursday. So I don't know if that's going to be the thing moving forward, but check when this game releases, most around Wednesday, Thursday. And for 3 weeks now, it's been consistent. So the game is Kingdom Come Deliverance, which is a pretty good game. And I feel like a game that was needed for the Luna library, Luna Plus channel. So good game, played it, ran pretty well. And just want to get y'all's take. I know some of you guys still don't have Luna, but just what's your take on Luna just getting this game? And again, the consistency of games being released on a weekly basis, so anyone can just hop on here.
So one of the things I always say I like about the subscription model is I continue to try games that I either skipped or didn't hear of or wouldn't have otherwise played. So like every time Luna puts out a Luna Plus channel game, I just jump in and give it a shot. And Kingdom Come Deliverance is good. Warhorse Studios did a fantastic job with that game. I posted up a video today that's like the first 28 minutes, which, you know, it's not doing a lot, but, you know, you're wandering around doing a couple of those little training and fight scenes. You get to throw the poop on the guy's house and that kind of stuff. It's all, you know, that's what the game's about, throwing poop. But no, it is really good, and I just really like that model. And I saw somebody's comment there that Luna does need day and date releases. They kind of do and kind of don't. It depends on the channel you're talking about. You got to envision Luna in the future having 6, 8, 10, 12 channels of all these different companies. Will those channels offer day and date? Yeah, Ubisoft does, because that's a $15 membership, and those expensive memberships are day and dates. They might have a light version eventually that cuts those out, kind of like EA Play has the light version and the pro version. So there's a lot to be said. I think each channel is going to have its own thing when it comes to what subscription model that's going to be. Is it day and dates? Is it a few months out? And the Luna Plus channel is going to stay its own thing that keeps getting these purposely ported, curated games that run a specific way on the Luna Plus channel. And you probably won't see big day and date releases except for exclusives hit that channel. So they're all going to have kind of their own plan, I think, going in the future.
I'll bring you some interesting things. Did you know that they actually launched with a day and date game, or there's a couple of day and date games on there? That Cook Serve Delicious Free was a day and date game, which I found interesting. What I'm actually liking about the Luna library, or how they're adding to it, there does seem to be a bit of thought going into what games they're adding. They're just not adding any games they can. They seem to be actually picking like games which are interesting, or maybe just interesting to me. Kingdom Come is a game which gets people talking. Then we had Sonic, and then we had No More Heroes. Then we had Katamari as well. These are sort of titles which the hardcore or big core, whatever sort of thing terminology you may have heard of, and they may want to jump in. I think the creation of the library is pretty. I think there is thought going into it.
Yeah, I definitely think you're right with that. They're very selective with the games that are releasing this platform. So yeah, so far I thought that was a good get. And then Sonic Team Racing the previous week was a good get too, for sure. And then Far Cry 2. Anyone else with this game, Kingdom Come Deliverance, coming to the Luna platform?
I was just going to say, it's obviously not like a brand new AAA title. That would have been much bigger news, but in terms of, it's from kind of like 2018, but in exactly what you said, in terms of genre, it's doing a good job at plugging up some of the holes in the Luna Plus library. Plus, yes, it's not AAA fantastic, like graphically intense game, but compared to some of the actually the last few weeks, looking at both Stadia and GeForce Now, it's not a 2D platformer side scroller. So just that on its own makes it stand out.
True. Cool. Anyone else want to hop on this game release on Google Stadia? If not, we're going to move to GeForce Now, because we got a lot to talk about there. So hop on.
I want to add one quick thing that we didn't mention for Luna that I think is pretty cool. If anybody's really been paying attention to what they're doing on the other side of things, they're building a hell of a community of people, of gamers, of streamers, of YouTubers.
Sure.
And they're responding to all of them. I mean, guys down to the smallest of channels, to mid-range, to big streamers that are getting sponsorships already. And they're doing a lot of curation on the other side of things that I think is really important too for this service going forward, that some people are talking about and some people aren't, but they are busy, really busy.
Yeah. No, that's a great point. And again, I think something we should discuss one episode is, who do we feel like do a better job reaching out to just the community and content creators, because I believe Luna's right up there. And again, GeForce Now for sure is up there as well. But yeah, that's true. Definitely kudos to them for that, for sure. But so I'm gonna do something different, because the GeForce Now news this week was absolutely insane. I'm still having a hard time like wrapping my mind and grasping everything that was released. But Jerry, I know you did a video on this, and so I just want you to kind of break it down on all that was geez Louises, unveiled for this platform this week, man.
Sure, we'll miss something, but I mean, yeah, I saw the email and you guys saw me in Discord. Like, did you just see what's coming out tomorrow? This is crazy. It's definitely not a strong week for games, and I'm sure we'll get to that part. And I said that in my video. Like, it is not unless you're waiting for System Shock to come out. It's not a strong week for games, but it sure was a strong week for GeForce Now and Founder for Life. I mean, was there anything much better than that to say thank you to everybody that's been supporting them from the beginning than to give you that $4.99 a month or $24.95 every 6-month pricing for life for as long as you keep your account in good standing? So they had already announced that was for 2021. I guess they decided, hey, let's just do that for life. So I thought that was really cool. They're also working on special icons that everybody's going to get on their account that's going to show up on your profile for being a founder. That'll be there, and some little touches like that that are nice. They're announcing improvements to streaming, the additional adaptive VSync features that are going to help a lot with stuff. They're going to be able to give us more bitrate coming down the road, and I feel like a lot of what they're laying out is getting ready for whatever upgrades or next push they'll be doing too. I think I said xCloud was going to do this 1080p mid upgrade before we get to 4K. And I feel like NVIDIA is going to do the same thing with GeForce Now, where we're getting this mid, like they're going to give us features and upgrades and stuff like that before we get to that next gen, whatever that cloud would be. If anybody was doubting if they're going to head into the future and be serious about cloud gaming, I don't think you should really be questioning it too much right now. Don't sleep on GeForce Now. They are out to be a pretty good force in the cloud gaming space, and they don't even need to be. And that's what's so scary about it. NVIDIA does not need the income from GeForce Now, so this is like a passion project for them, and I actually do feel like they're passionate about it with what we've been getting. So, but there's a ton of other stuff too, and you can get the priority membership now. Founders is gone. That's gonna be $9.99 a month going forward, or $100 a year, which I said in my video is still a great deal. I still think $10 a month for all the priority access features, especially for the market they're going after, which is really PC gamers, trying to, all those people that have the NVIDIA GPUs and stuff like that. So yeah, I think it's great, and there's more in there, but let's let everybody discuss and get into what's going on, because there's a lot of opinion, a lot to say for this week on GeForce Now, but I think it's all positive. So
yeah, what's your take on the 10 million?
10 million. Now when we're approaching like Game Pass level. I mean, if you think about it, as they've gotten to their 15 and 18 million. We don't know real Stadia numbers, but the ones that bounce around are a little low. I'd like to see them much higher than, a million or whatever the case may be. Who knows? When I heard 10 million, I was like, there is power now to get more games over. More to, like, if you have a game coming out and you hear there's 10 million, 12 million players on that cloud service, you're going to be a lot more likely to click that button and say, yeah, allow my game to be played over there. So that got me excited as well. Every line in this news, especially as a GeForce fan, got me excited for the service.
Yeah. True. Cool. So let's check in with the panel, see what y'all's take is on this GeForce Now news. Also, when you guys are answering, I do want you guys to answer this question as well, because it seems to be a huge debate. You hear people from the Stadia side saying, for $10, I get pro membership, to where I get all these free games that I can claim. I get all these free discounts. And for $10 GeForce Now, we're not getting any of that. So just want to get your feedback on that topic of conversation as well. So to get started, Ben, what's your take on GeForce Now news for this week, and also the little Stadia GeForce Now debate?
Oh, man. I heard all those things from the Stadia community. Also heard, well, they still don't have 4K, so Stadia is still better. I'm like, are they though? Because GeForce Now has all these graphical capabilities that they've added in that Stadia doesn't really seem to have. And while Stadia runs smoothly, honestly, I think with all the news this week, GeForce Now really kicked it up like several notches.
Okay, cool. Mark, what's your take on this news and also the Stadia?
We'll start on that argument, and I would argue, yes, that $10 a month for Stadia is getting you Stadia Pro games, but that $10 for GeForce Now, even without the subscription, if like free tier, 80 free to play games is a hell of a big number when it comes to these services. 800 title or over 800 now, with the rate they're adding them every week, more than makes up for that price, in my opinion. If 4K is the one thing that you're absolutely set on, that's your one criteria, then there are even ways around that with GeForce Now. Yes, it doesn't officially support 4K right now. Go out and get a Shield TV Pro 4K upscaling. NVIDIA is doing all of the technology AI upscaling stuff in the background that everyone else is going to be using, and they're bringing it to their services. So if that's your number one criteria, you can do it. So I don't really see the argument there. In terms of the news, the 10 million I found, like exactly as Jerry said, I found extremely interesting. One thing I love is that they're extremely open and honest about this stuff. Like, this is how we're doing so far. Like, if you're subscribing, you're paying, you're along for this journey with us, you want to know how well this platform is doing. We want to instill confidence in you that it's doing okay and it's not going anywhere. Not naming any names in that, trying not to. But so 10 million is a good number, and 10 million is also something to throw around the industry. We had the exact conversation last week about Activision Blizzard, about how when they were removed originally, we were like, okay, it was from what we heard, it was like a disagreement over licensing and things like that. We know it was money. There was money involved. 10 million is a very good figure to start throwing around to try and get some of these back. So that's my hopes for them moving forward as this player base grows. One of the things I was really excited about in this news, obviously there was lots of stuff coming out with this 2.0.28 update, stream quality improvements. Excited to check out all of that to see if it fixes any of because I play on through the browser now, and I find that experience much better than streaming through their app. I'm interested to see if this new update improves that streaming through their app for me personally. But the main thing they were talking about is not something that's coming out soon, but they're working on, is the improvements to launching games, because I feel like we've all touched on that at some point or another. Like, yes, stream quality is fine, library is fantastic, the rate at which they add games, great. The user experience jumping in and out of games, the two-factor authentications and signing into different libraries, and the speed that it takes, like, that is the part that sometimes stops me from jumping into it. If it's a game I've already got installed somewhere else, I'm sometimes more likely to lean towards that, because just getting into the gaming session will be quicker. So they're saying with some of these developments that load time will be decreased by about 50%. So I'm hoping that both technical load time, but also the user experience, some of the god-awful screens we have to go through to get to the game, I'm hoping to see some really good improvements on that.
True. Good point. Thanks for that, Mark. How about you, host? What's your take on this?
Well, I'm one of them gamers that you said at the start. I am literally scared for founders for life. I mean, I am a founder, but I am one of them type of gamers where I don't upgrade my subscription with my card details all the time. When a new card comes to the door, it takes me a while to upgrade. So I know I'm going to lose in the future this founders for life. And I do not want to pay the full price of what they're asking for now, because I don't see, at the moment with GeForce Now, I don't see the value, because I am that gamer that goes, when you look at other subscriptions, they've got more games that I'm more interested in. They offer me discount prices, and they also offer me free games. It might not be the games that I want at that month, but sometimes there'll be something for me. So I'm really scared going forward unless GeForce Now steps up the library that I'm interested in.
So you're saying for $10, you feel like...
Yeah, $10 is too close to G4 and Game Pass. Sorry, it doesn't matter if it's the PC tier, console tier, or the Ultimate tier. It's you're not really you're competing with every subscription, not just Stadia.
Yeah.
No. So the price of PlayStation Now with their library, huge.
Yeah.
Game Pass, huge. And then when I see GeForce Now, I can't rely and say, well, I'm going to get 4K or I'm going to get increment graphics, because everyone this year is going to be doing that. So I am really scared of the price hike.
Yeah.
The counterpoint to that is, I mean, I've canceled Stadia Pro a couple times, and the only reason I keep coming back, it's not so much the library, it's the fact that it's 4K HDR.
Yeah,
because
of course.
It looks so different on Stadia, the Pro version versus the free version.
Mm-hmm. But my point wasn't just the upgrade. My point was the whole stuff it's going to offer.
True. I'm with you, and again, I'll say my piece in a bit too. I do think GeForce Now is not offering enough for that $10. I mean, compared to what the other people are offering. But that's just my take, and then again, I'll get to that. But I do side with you in this one for sure. But Jerry, let's hear from you, sir. What's your take on this?
So just since I did go over a lot of that, and Mark, I knew Mark would bring up the great point about the load times. That's why I left that hanging, because it's a good one that they're working on. And somebody in the chat mentioned like Luna Plus does, and yeah, the Luna Plus channel has a specific curated library that launches very much like Stadia. It's instantaneous. It's a few seconds, and you're into the game. Much different than the other channels. Then the $10. It's hard when you have these debates because, and I've said this before, all these services are so different. And Stadia is a console in the cloud platform and a closed ecosystem like an Xbox or like a PlayStation. And something like Luna is a hybrid of like GeForce Now and Stadia, and then GeForce Now is catering to PC players by giving them access to probably their already current library, their Ubisoft subscriptions, things like that. So it gets sticky for me when I sit here and try to compare what each one's giving you for which price point, because number one, there's a customer for all of it, where there's customers like us that will have all of it, but they all offer something unique for each different type of consumer. It's why I love having Holtz on here as well, and just like you, because you guys will differ in certain opinions with Stadia on that than I will. I think the $10 is fine. It's hard to debate. Just like Mark said, there's 83 free-to-play games right now on GeForce Now. If you have the free or the paid that you can access, they may not necessarily be games we play anymore, and we're older. We may have moved on from a lot of these free-to-play games, Apex Legends being one of them, Spellbreak, there's a ton of them in there, but there are millions of players still out there playing these games, and it does mean something to them. So value is in the eye of the beholder. I think GeForce Now is still offering plenty for that $10, and seeing the confidence behind the platform and where they're headed, I don't really see any issue with that. And the comparison's tough. Stadia is offering one thing for 10, GeForce Now is offering something completely different.
But if they're confident, I said this in Discord, and if they're very confident, why can't GeForce Now just say to gamers like me, here's how we've split between the paid and free? I would love them to come out and say there's 8 million paid subscribers for Founders. I'll be over the moon. But going forward, I'm a bit worried that I've become stagnated going past 10 million because a lot of gamers don't want to pay $10 when they look at the likes of Game Pass.
So you're saying they should break down the numbers, right? 10 million. How many of those are free?
Because I wouldn't want to be on a free tier and have 8 million people trying to get on the platform. No.
Honestly, I think a decent chunk of that number is all the free subscriptions that they gave out to everybody that bought NVIDIA GPUs in the last 6 months.
Truth.
There's a huge segment of that.
Can't go wrong with that. Yeah, that is true. That is true. And again, good point. Jerry, do you want to get back at Holtz?
Just listen to all this. I just feel like, man, I thought maybe cloud could stay away from console wars, but no, the cloud wars are here and they're coming, and it's only going to get worse.
True. Duncan, what's your take on this news, and also how does it compare with Pro and State and GeForce?
See, it is going to be all in the eye of the beholder. Everybody is going to have their own opinions on it. I could sit here and make a case that the $9.99 is good value. Here's one quick example: it is $15 cheaper, £15 cheaper to get Outriders on PC than it is on Stadia straight away, which pays for your subscription there. And so you can actually make Holtz, I knew that would get you going there. Yeah, there we go.
Is this officially you can get the game?
Yes, it's officially. This is on the Humble store. I haven't even looked into this, like what people would go like CD keys or anything like this. This is the big proper stores, and you can get the games cheaper. We do know that playing on PC generally is cheaper than playing on Stadia, which is basically a console in the sky. But if you want the convenience factor, again, goes back to Stadia. Overall, with the GeForce Now news, it has actually got me thinking. This time last week, I was basically thinking that GeForce Now was just going to be a complementary platform to PC. I think with these sort of moves they're making now, trying to reduce the load times, make it easier to go in, I think they're going after, I'm not saying like normal gamers, or I think they are moving towards that. And I think it's really, really interesting, and that they are going after, or in my opinion, that they're going after the wider gaming market now, not just PC gamers. And again, that's where I just see what these moves they're making now, and that's where they're going.
Huh. Okay. Fair enough. Good to know. Good to know. But I love this, man. It's pretty cool to hear different takes on this situation. But Hell Monkey, let's get to you, man. What's your take on this GeForce Now news?
Just sort of picking up where Duncan was saying there about trying to get into more hands. The expansion into the new territories and regions that are coming, and the new data center that's going up in Phoenix, Arizona, isn't it? And then one later coming to Canada. As Duncan said, I think that shows that they aren't just going to be in this, as a sort of service to PC players, sort of thing. I think they want to push it further. They see that there's a share to be had in the market. So yeah, I can definitely see them making a bigger push in the coming months. Just on the question you posed about the value, I think if you haven't been in the PC, into PC gaming, you've never sort of gamed on PC, it's just been, your consoles over the years, I don't think you really sort of understand what GeForce Now can give you. So all the games that you've built up over the years in PC, if they are available in the GeForce Now library, you can take them with you on the go. You can move on to your big screen if you invest in, the Shield Pro. So yeah, if you're not coming from a PC player, as I say, it can look like, what am I getting for this sort of money?
And
But
true.
I've been one of them. We were saying this 2 podcasts ago. I was one of them gamers where Ace said to me, "Are you a PC gamer?" And I was like, "Yes, I do play on PC. I've played on PC over the years, but the games that I have added onto my Steam library are not actually accessible through GeForce Now." So when people go, "Well, are you a PC gamer? Because you don't like simulators and you don't like space sims," and I'm like, "Yeah, but I do actually love all the other games that I've got." I'm like, "Well, where's all the games my library's got?" But I feel like I'll get tarnished because I'm not a PC gamer because I've got a different library.
Yeah. True.
For holds every time, no matter what platform it is, Stadia, GeForce Now, they don't have the games that I want. It's every week. Somebody give Holtz the games he wants. Just email a list to everyone and try to get it.
The whole point is, it's like Square Enix had an event just the other day, and they were pushing cloud, and I'm like, oh yes, they've got Square Enix games. They've got Tomb Raider, Deus Ex, they've got Outriders, Marvel Avengers. I'm like, great. And I was like, come on, name Kingdom Hearts, Final Fantasy, and Dragon Quest. Come on. And he just went, no, sorry. And I just went, see, no support for the games I like, never.
What do you mean, Life is Strange 3, bro?
No, I'm trying to say, I forgot to mention that, but the point is the games that I was saying on my library that I can sort of connect to.
Yeah. Hopefully that's going to come soon, Holtz. We'll keep our fingers
crossed. We're going to celebrate. We're going to celebrate. Once I get one game.
Cool. Chase, what's your take on this news, and how do you think what's it called? What's the new name? Prime? What are they calling the GeForce Now new tier?
Priority
tier compared to Founders.
Well, so I'm going to kind of encapsulate a couple things that everybody said, but kind of just put a little bit more of a different, not necessarily a different take on it, but just to kind of elaborate on it. It's what Jerry kind of said, is all of these platforms and these services have pros and cons, right? None of them are perfect, and none of them have like this perfect system that's in place. And one of the things I was jotting down is, when you look at GFN, what is one of the benefits of that platform? And I think Ben said it's a free to play space. There's a lot of games that you can play that are free to play that are available through GFN that maybe you can't get over on Stadia. On the Stadia side of it, you've got games you can keep. Once you claim them, they're there. You don't have to worry about them ever going away. I'm not saying that we're at that place with GFN, but we saw that before, where games were taken away and then they brought games back. So there's not that threat that's there. And I think the differences in the approaches of both GFN and Stadia, up to the point of this announcement, was Stadia was focused on casual gamers. GFN was focused on PC players. That was very much clear in both of their messages. What Duncan just said is 100% what I agree with, is GFN is very much now saying, okay, guess what? We said to you all that we were going to go after PC players. Yeah, that was our initial approach. We're expanding that approach now. These are all moves that are showing me that they're going after a different type of consumer now. Faster load times. What was the number one complaint all of us have said? You know, everyone's already said it, but sign-ins, ease of use. They specifically use the term ease of use in this press release. I was like, my God, like PR and marketing 101, take exactly what someone says to you and duplicate it in your PR messaging to your consumer. And then the $10, Jerry's gonna fall out of his seat when I say this. The $10 a month is getting them to a sustainable place. Sustainability is, I know, Jerry, sustainability is an important thing for NVIDIA right now. And I don't think $10 is the final place. I think 15 and above, I've always said it, is really that sweet spot for them without a storefront. But they're getting there. Like they're making those moves to show that they are serious in this space. And man, this news was crazy this week. When they dropped this, I was like, expansion into new territories, price increase, which some might be worried about that, but I looked at it in the flip side. They're moving towards a sustainable place. Like these are all positive things for them. And that's one thing that's going to be very interesting, just very quickly to wrap this up, is watching these companies expand. And when I say expansion, I'm talking about new markets, because these emerging markets are going to be vital to these companies' success. Yeah. India, Japan, South Korea, Australia. That's going to be where the next frontier is at, and where this cloud war, if we want to call it that, is going to be fought.
True. Good point. Good take on that, Chase. So this news, like everyone has said, was absolutely insane. And I think I'm going to give the reaction talking with our team, Chief and Monkey. We were thinking about like making a cloud gaming news video, and then we got this email, and we went on the Discord CGX cast chat, and we just like, holy crap. And Jerry, your take was like the same thing, like this is huge, it's massive, right? Big news. And again, shout outs to them. So again, this week was incredible for everyone, but I feel like overall GeForce Now news was insane. It was I would say one of the biggest ones. So good stuff. But like Jerry was saying, when it comes to the games, wasn't too excited, and we'll quickly just talk about them now and just get y'all's take. But I echo what everyone has said here in the panel. Like these moves that they're making shows that they're in here to play. You know, they want this to be a sustainable business for them, right? Hiking the price, even though I don't like it at 10, but companies got to make money. It's going to be interesting to see if this slows the growth of the platform, right? Again, the founders at the price that they originally launched it was a sweet spot. So for $10, are people still going to purchase this on a monthly basis? It's going to be interesting to see if people stick with it. Again, founders probably will, because the price is the same, but for newcomers, if they'll stay with it or go elsewhere. But comparing it to Google Stadia model, I'll be honest with you, I like what we get with Stadia better than what we get at $10, just being real. The pro deals are incredible. The free pro games, think about like last year when we're getting like 5-6 consistently. Hopefully that gets back there, but being able to get free games, I know people can make the argument, if you go to Epic Game Store, these free games there, which you can use GeForce Now to play. I get that. But overall, just package-wise, I do think you do get a better deal with Google Stadia compared to what you're getting for GeForce Now. But that's my take. Quickly, let's just look at the games. Again, we still have Stadia and xCloud to cover. Do Not Feed the Monkeys was a Steam release. Goner, I don't know if I'm saying that correctly, was a Steam release. Loop Hero was Epic Game Store. Monopoly Plus was Steam. Snooker 19, Steam. System Shock Enhanced Edition, Steam. Wannabe Warriors, Steam. Now, none of those games interest me at all. And it comes back to, again, not to like hop on GeForce Now, but this is what, the third week for me where I'm like, they have a weak library, bro. Like this is weak. This is weak. And this is the third week. So my patience with games coming to the GeForce Now platform. I know we get Outriders same day. I get that, but they've been dropping the ball with the game releases on a weekly basis. For me, I'm just being real. But just quickly, I'm gonna open this up. Anyone hop on because we gotta move to Stadia and xCloud. But what's y'all's take on these games? Anyone can just jump on here.
Oh, I'll jump in. Oh, sorry. Off you go, Ben.
I was gonna say I'm not impressed with the games out of this week or the last like 3 or 4 weeks, but at the same time, the actual like new games coming out right now, there's not a lot that they can really add. They can only add older games. So, I mean, what would you have them add?
Kingdom Hearts, bro. Get those games here, man. There's so many other games they get. Games that they can.
I just named about 30 just from the Square Enix release that was on my library that he could have brought.
Yeah. There's still so many games they can bring back to the platform.
And to me, I looked at this GeForce Now this weekend and I went, Bear, let's just see what simulators been added this week. And then when I seen Don't Feed the Monkeys, I just thought to myself, a monkey observer simulator. I said, they think of everything, don't they? I just thought, oh my God, this week. And so it's been 4 weeks for me, but I'm like, kudos for people who want to play the game. I respect you picking that game up. But for me, I was like, oh no. So some of these people must look and go, Holtz, will you stop asking for your games? Your games are more bizarre than mine. I'm like, oh no.
I'll jump on this one as well. And I think we all agree. And I think for the people who did do videos, we all, we can 100% praise all of the moves that they're making, all of the news they've announced, and in the same breath say these aren't the games. I think everyone agrees with that. My hopes is because, yes, this is like the third, maybe fourth week running where we've had lackluster weekly Thursday games. My hope is with the GOG announcement, we'll get some of that back catalog introduced fairly soon. As that partnership grows. Also, as I already said, kind of that they're purposely throwing around that 10 million number. I'm hoping that either brings back or brings more games on. And also something else that we kind of glossed over a little bit in that news is they spoke about their new pipeline onboarding journey for games, which again, they seem to have doubled the speed for everything. So they've said that they can actually get new games onto the platform in about half the time now, which to me just kind of preempts that GeForce Now Thursdays, as big as they already are. They some of the stats they gave us, they said last year it was an average of 10 games a week, which is a hell of a lot. Could we see that grow with a new pipeline, a faster onboarding journey? I'm excited to see that.
Sure.
I'll just jump on. Sorry, Jerry, you go.
No, go ahead, Duncan. You've been letting everybody else go. I'll go after you.
Okay. It's just I wonder if they're going for like a bit of a Microsoft approach here. I think the games this week, again, are weaker games. They've got Loop Hero, which we know is taking off a bit, but they've got the Epic Store version. I think they got that a wee while ago as well. But could they be adopting the Microsoft way of they didn't want to overshadow the big news? They didn't want to drop a couple of big games, and they're going to maybe do that next week as to build momentum, because it's all. I think we'll see next week what happens if they drop a couple of big games. I think we can say that if it's just more of the same mid-tier to lower sort of tier, I think it's going to be they may be struggling to bring a couple of the older games back onto the platform.
Yeah,
So
Microsoft just did that holdback thing because they just announced MechWarrior 5 is coming to console, Xbox Series X and S, but they didn't announce it for Game Pass yet, or what the price would be, or pre-orders or anything. Why? Because there's too much news right now. They're gonna announce it for Game Pass. I just know it, but it's gonna be next week, not this week. They had to hold it back, and that wouldn't be surprising. But also with what Ben said, we all say that when these platforms get older games, oh, it's great they got the older games back, but where's the new games? Well, there are no new games right now, and I do believe they're gonna get Kingdom Hearts. That comes out in 10 days. I know everybody wants to know ahead of time, but I like surprises, and I have no issue if Kingdom Hearts drops day and date release on GeForce Now, and I find out about it that day. I still think that that's coming as a day and date or very soon. I seriously doubt Kingdom Hearts 3 is coming to Epic Game Store, and we're not going to have it on GFN pretty much right away.
If they get that game, I think Holtz and myself would be very
It would be
pleased.
amazing.
And then
Because I've pre-ordered it. Yeah,
Yeah.
I've beat that game so many times, but I can't wait to try it on PC. And if it goes to GFN, and I think it will, but that's the only game. So if they miss that one and then get Outriders, then for all the new games that have come out in the past 30 days, they would have only have missed one. And I don't think they're going to miss that one. We want the older libraries to come back, but like I've said, I'm forward thinking with GeForce Now. I want to see the new games coming day and date release, the AAAs, the popular games like Valheim, Indies, all that coming right away. But I don't care about the backfill as much. So there wasn't much for them to put out right now anyways, but definitely want to see Kingdom Hearts, and I think we're going to.
So Jojo is saying MechWarrior 5 is on PC Game Pass already.
It is.
Accurate? Okay.
It is, but it was never on console. The game was never
I
on
see.
console before. It's going to release on console, and since it's already on Game Pass on PC, I'm telling you, it's probably going to be a Game Pass game on X, and it may even have the ray tracing, so it would be really cool.
That would be dope. That would be dope. Anyone else want to give you 2 cents on these games releasing? Go ahead, Chase.
I was just going to say that to everyone's point is that content is important, and all these platforms and services are going to be judged on what content they have at any given time. And for all the good things that, like Mark said, all the positive things that happened this past week with GFN as far as the news that they dropped, yeah, this isn't the greatest lineup, but it's what you're going to have to see out of any of these entities is what happens. Is it like Jerry was saying, are they stretching out the news, trying to play the PR game, which is to control the narrative, which is what good companies do. That's what Microsoft's doing right now. They are intentionally dropping things. They go a couple days. They know they have all this news they could drop at once, but we got to stretch it out. We want to make sure we continue to control the narrative and have our foot on the gas pedal. So it'll be interesting to see what they do next week, but it is important to note that all these companies and all these services, they're going to be judged on their content, and consumers are going to judge them on their content. If the game's not there, then they'll go over and find it somewhere else on another service or platform.
Well, how long do we have to wait? Because a few weeks ago I was mentioning like the likes of Persona 5 Strikers and Saints Row Remastered, and these are big. They were in the Steam charts in the top 10 in the sales, and I'm still waiting weeks down the line. So I'm like, do I have to wait a month, 2 months just to come to the platform?
Well, I think the thing that I would say to that, Holtz, is that's where consumers make that decision. Like, you see the reaction from consumers, and it's in every space. Like when Microsoft. I'm not trying to just use Microsoft as an example, but let me use somebody else. Let's say it's Amazon. If Amazon doesn't put out a game for a couple of weeks, and you've got consumers that are loyal to that brand and they don't see that there's games coming out, well, they're vocal about it. And that's where the company then has to react to that. So you being vocal or other people being vocal, that's why I'm saying content is going to matter, because consumers will speak up and say something.
But like I said, I feel sometimes when I see the request forms on the internet, I'm like, oh, it's already been made request, but I'm like, well, where are they? Usually, GeForce Now is quite fast to bring these games to the platform when people request them.
True. So are we all okay? Oh, nah, go ahead, Hell Monkey.
I was just going to add before we move away from GeForce Now, they put out a tweet earlier that Rainbow Siege is free to play for the next week, and you can obviously jump in and play it on GeForce Now, so you can.
There you go.
Just we kind of missed over that. Well, not missed over. I don't think it was put into the mainstream, but I found that on Twitter earlier.
That's cool. Yeah, thanks for that. Again, if you guys are big Rainbow Six Siege people, which the game is awesome, if you guys haven't tried it, it's a good way to try it for free with GeForce Now. So go check that out. Thank you for that. So let's move to Stadia. So much to talk about here, but FIFA released. We'll start with that. A game that was highly anticipated, runs really well on this platform, and it's pretty good to see. This is the 3rd official EA game that has been released in Stadia. Madden ran well. Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order, it ran okay, but FIFA, to my surprise, ran really well. So again, just want to start by checking with you guys. Did you guys play? What are your thoughts on FIFA? My experience was it was incredible, a great get for Google Stadia. And again, we'll talk about the stealth drop game, which was Dragon Quest, which was also a good get for Stadia. But this was, I would say, a great week for Stadia. So I'm curious to see what the panel have to say, but we'll start with FIFA and just give you a overall take on the Google Stadia news for this week. So to get started, Chase, what's your take on the Stadia news for this week?
Stadia had a good week. This was actually a really positive week for them. I agree with you on that, Ace. When you look at between the FIFA drop, which the game, I'll be very honest, I've played all three Madden, sorry, God, that's stuck in my head. All three EA titles that they've put on Stadia. So Jedi Fallen Order, Madden, and now FIFA. And I think FIFA is the cleanest port that's been put onto the platform. It runs the best. It performs the best. There's no issues with the game from what I've seen. I've had some localized issues more so because I think it's my data center that I'm closest to, but that's a completely different conversation. And then as far as Dragon Quest, that's a popular JRPG. That's a game that a lot of people are going to be interested in.
Yeah.
And then the 2K 21 free play day, free weekend this weekend. I mean, again, in a week where, let's just pretend that this hadn't been, a week where everybody else was dropping crazy amounts of news, this would have been a spotlight for this platform and would have been talked about. And I think that's one of the things that I'm sure people will talk about is that the timing of where you want to put these kind of news pieces out or where you want to try to get these things out. You want to try to do it in a cycle where you're not going to have competing news so that you get a little bit of that news cycle. Yeah. But nonetheless, you can't fault the news. The news is positive for them. This was a really good week. So strong stuff for them.
True. Forgot to mention 2K, so thank you for bringing that up. And again, that was available to play for free Tuesday, right? Normally it's Thursday, so it's like a little extension to the free-to-play week. Yeah, again, good stuff overall for Stadia, I think. So let's check in with Ben. What's your take on the Stadia news for this week?
I agree with Chase. I think that it was great news. It was, great week for Stadia. They just got overshadowed by everybody else. There were just so much news this past week, last week and a half, that it was just hard to keep up with, and Stadia just kind of barely made it in there, even though they had a great week. As far as FIFA, I wanted to buy it, but I kind of held back because I wanted to see how everybody else was doing, how they were liking it, performance-wise, and everything. And like you guys were saying, the performance, what I hear, is phenomenal. The one downside is player base. It took everybody was finding matches the first 24 hours. The second Friday hit, it just dropped. All my friends in Europe were having a hard time playing on Friday evening and finding a match.
Play base issue is something Stadia kind of is known for with online. So bummer. Same thing kind of happened with Madden, but we'll see. So Roger, let me bring this up real quick. You said FIFA and Madden equals first buy and Jedi equals Unreal Engine. So it seems like they've perfected the first buy engine, right, on Stadia, but the Unreal Engine with EA games are kind of struggling. I think that's what you're trying to say. But let's check in with Jared. What's your take on the Stadia news for this week?
Again, like everybody's saying, it's a positive week for Stadia. There's no way that they could have known Microsoft was going to absolutely dominate all news cycles every day for at least a week straight, or 2 weeks, really, with Bethesda included in there. So it's been tough for anybody to kind of elbow in and get their information out there. GeForce Now did a good job of it, especially with people like us out here, that they connect with, and we get the information out there for people. So they did well. Stadia had a great week. FIFA has, out of all the EA sports games do great. FIFA's got the money though. This game is literally the highest selling of all of them. So it's not surprising to me that this port runs the best. What makes a port run good? Money. They can make any game on Stadia run as good as they choose to make it run on Stadia. And we've seen that with different games. My understanding of porting games over to Stadia is that it's actually very difficult. It's extremely difficult to access all the different pieces because they've used this chiplet design, the way that you have to program the games to access the power. It's not like just going in and grabbing a Series X and making for that. You're having to have things pieced up. It's a lot more complicated. So it's not surprising that is running so well because they put the money into it. I've seen gorgeous videos of the game running on Stadia. I don't have it. I didn't grab it. Like Ben said, you don't don't go into it for multiplayer. And on Stadia, most people already know it is very difficult, right, with the player base for multiplayer games. Use LFG websites, looking for groups, use Discord, use friends, get people together that way, use Twitter. But if you're just trying to go and use the game's matchmaking or things like that, you're going to have problems. But as far as the port goes, as far as coming to Stadia, the game's gorgeous. 2K free to play was great. They have another huge sale going on. You can't complain too much this week for Stadia for what they did, but they did get overshadowed.
Yeah. Just forgot to mention too, Terraria can never say that game was a game that was released too. So for the people that spoke already, if you just want to hop on and give your take on that release in Stadia, feel free. But let's check in with Duncan. What's your take on the Stadia news this week?
Okay, if we're just looking at it in the Stadia bubble, we're not looking at whatever happened in other places. This has been a great week for Stadia. If we're looking at it in a broader sense for Stadia, I think it has been a good week. Stadia was trending on Twitter again this week, and when Stadia is trending on Twitter, it ain't a good thing usually, and it was the Jade Raymond thing, and another interview which was overshadowed as well was the Shannon Studstill interview, which it's well worth checking that out as well. So overall, I think it's been a good week for Stadia. Great week if you're not taking out the other sources of Stadia news from which aren't delivered by them. But yeah, it has been a good week. FIFA, I have not bought FIFA. I've said why I haven't bought FIFA. It's actually two reasons. If it was under £15, I would have probably got it. And the second reason is I'm a PES man over FIFA because PES is just a lot more fun for me. I just enjoy it a lot more. I just feel FIFA's scripted at times, or just feels scripted. If we're going to get into talk like that. But it has been a good week for Stadia. I just hope they can announce 55 more games down the line. I'm just trying to get a yes.
My goodness. Mark, what's your take on the Stadia news?
Yeah, I think it was a good week for them. It could have been a bad week, depending on the performance of FIFA. After the last few weeks, some of the controversies, this lawsuit about things not running in true 4K 60 FPS, it was confirmed that FIFA is, yes, in fact, 4K 60 FPS, and I think somebody else said it runs just as well as the next gen consoles, which is great to see. So it could have been a horrendous week for Stadia had this been like one of the half-assed ports. So really happy to see that that they kind of met expectations with this one in terms of price of it as well, because we didn't know how much it was going to cost.
True.
It's come in kind of where I was anticipating, which is pretty good. I did see that they, because it was like $24 or something, they did have the like slash through $60 next to it. It was like that. Don't make it out like it's a discount. You were never going to release it for $60. Like there's only, because I went and did a search around this. I was a little bit curious. There's only a few places, some like mainstream places that are still selling console versions for full price. As Duncan was talking about earlier, some of those other sites, CD keys and places like that, it's basically $24 everywhere. So they're price matching that, which is pretty good.
So I'm hearing a lot of positivity for Stadia this week. So again, Google, it's kind of a bummer, like Chase was saying, just got overshadowed by a lot of good news from other people. But yeah, this is good to see for sure. But let's check in with Host. Do we get to you with this?
No. I thought you were waiting for the best till last. I thought you was doing, you know what I mean? This week was amazing. Where a lot of people say on the podcast, content is king. If you said to me, what franchises would you like to see on any given cloud platform, I would definitely say FIFA and the likes of Dragon Age. And getting this week, and I was expecting FIFA, and I've been playing it with my twin on couch co-op. But like I said, my nephew, he's been playing it all week. Well, all weekends and stuff like that. And he's been playing on the card in 4G. And he's like to his parents, Dad, I'm playing FIFA on my tablet. And his dad's like, because he's not a gamer, he's like, wow, how'd you do that? And I'm like, it's on Stadia, mate. And he's like, wow, he's in the back of the car playing the game. So it was a good step in the direction for my family to play cloud game. And for me, I was not going to buy Dragon Quest 11. wasn't going to play it on Stadia because I already played it on the likes of Game Pass on December. But what happened was, since Final Fantasy 15 got removed from PlayStation Now, I thought to myself, I can't be subscribing to subscriptions where these JRPGs are getting removed before I finish them. So I went, I might as well go onto a platform that I love, and I bought Dragon Quest 11, and both games look absolutely amazing, and I'm really happy.
Yeah. That's a good point. Again, the same game is in Game Pass, right? But realistically, how long is it going to last there, right? So if you make that investment, Stadia, you know that Dragon Quest is going to be there for quite some time. So true. Hell Monkey, what's your take on this Stadia news?
Well, Dre sort of stole my thunder there in the chat, and as he's mentioned, that Stadia is one of the only places that you can play FIFA in the cloud right now, apart from Boosteroid, I believe.
That's
But
true.
yeah, so I'm going to retract from a previous statement I made about FIFA coming to Stadia. I was of the thought process that this sort of time of the year isn't the best time to bring a footballing game because the season's over. But upon fuller thinking, I'm thinking, as the season ends, how are people going to get their football fix with FIFA and the likes waiting on the next one coming out? So yeah, it's a good time. They've got in there early enough, and from what I've seen, it looks so good on Stadia. So it does. So yeah, kudos to EA for the fantastic port. But here's where I think Stadia have missed a trick. So we have NBA 2K as a free-to-play weekend. I think that they should have made it FIFA. And I tell you why I think they should have made it FIFA. So we are coming towards the end of March. Under current circumstances across the globe, people are tight for money. It's affecting everybody. So if they had made it free to play, say until Sunday, with the free play days, and then obviously the price isn't too bad, that gives people a chance to try it, see how it runs, and then that gets you towards the end of the month where a lot of people get paid, and then they might think, oh man, that game looks great, I am going to buy that at the end of the month. So I think they sort of missed a trick, but other than that, the news has been fantastic, and as everyone's already mentioned, it has been overshadowed ever so slightly by other goings on in the cloud gaming landscape this week, unfortunately.
True.
But Hell Monkey, I was saying last week that I've seen on Twitter that a lot of people saying it was irrelevant because the season's over, but that's only true for Western European leagues. The likes of Norway, Sweden, Ireland, South America, their season's just starting. So they've still got the whole likes of season 21 to support the game.
And the United States, Major League Soccer.
Yeah.
We're talking football here, Chase. Come on.
You cut it out, man. Don't start with me.
That's funny. Oh man, but yeah, good point with the free-to-play NBA 2K though. I was really shocked. I mean, I love it because I play that game a lot, and it's pretty good, cool to see the park filled out with people. But I really thought we were gonna get FIFA this week, like we got Madden with the free-to-play weekend. But yeah, that's a good point. It should have been FIFA.
They might still do it. They might still do it at some point, maybe next weekend, and they could just, drop it on as a free play day. But nonetheless, good week for Stadia.
But I'll tell you one thing that was bitter this week. When FIFA came out for $25 in the States, I was like, well, yes, we must be getting it cheaper in Europe because the conversion rate. I was like, it's going to be under £20. Yes, and then when I signed in and seen 25, I was like, oops. So.
But overall pricing, let's talk about that real quick before we move on. I thought it was good, right? That's kind of what we were hoping, 20, 24, 25. I thought they did a good job with pricing. What's y'all's take on the pricing of FIFA?
I'm just going to shout out our European buddies out there. I think they have been screwed again from my reading of it. They are paying a lot more again, and I think that is a common theme which is going on there. I'm happy enough to be corrected, but I think they're paying slightly more like they have been for some of these other games, especially I know Ubisoft they're having big issues out there. These are the people they're paying in euros. I'm talking about. So overall, the pricing didn't shock me. I think I thought it was coming in about that as a sale, but I think it needed to be a couple of pounds cheaper over here. just because of the conversions.
Cool. So I want to move to xCloud. And shout out to everyone. I think we all can agree that this was a good week overall for Google Stadia. So seriously, round of applause. I mean, let's keep it up. Let's keep the consistency going for this platform. So good week. All right, so xCloud, there's a game that, it's a big game where GeForce Now has the demo of right now, and, is releasing on Stadia April 1st, I believe, with some Stadia exclusive features, and that game is coming to xCloud Game Pass. And I have a interesting conversation, and I want to know where you guys stand with this. So it's coming to Game Pass same day release, but it's only on the cloud and for consoles, so not PC. Just to throw that out there. So good get. I wonder how much they paid to get this exclusive, right to this game release on Game Pass. But now you have 3. Well, if you want to throw in Shadow, you can say 4, but we'll take Shadow out and say you have 3 places in the cloud where you can play Outriders when it launches day 1. Kudos for everyone going out getting this game first day, right? But the breakdown is for GeForce Now, you have RTX limited to 1080p, but you have RTX come launch. For Google Stadia, you have 4K. We don't know what to go back to GeForce Now. The demo says 60 FPS, so we know we're getting that. So again, RTX 1080, 60 FPS. For Google Stadia, we hopefully are going to get 4K. Hopefully we get 60, but then Stadia exclusive feature with Stream Connect. And then you can add crossplay for all of them. For xCloud, we're getting 720p, right? People can make the argument that you can, play on PC with 1080p. But let's just say some people don't know how to do that yet, and the only way you can play that game is 720p on xCloud. You're getting it for free. Not for free, but if you pay for Game Pass, that is, you get the game pretty much. So I feel like that's the advantage that Game Pass has. So saying all of this, where are you guys gonna pick this game up at? What platform are you gonna play it on? And just where's the excitement level with this game releasing on all of the cloud game platforms? So to get started, Ben, what's your take on Outriders coming to these platforms?
I mean, I was super excited when I saw it was coming to Game Pass. I would play it on Stadia for convenience, but I'm worried about the FPS on there. That they haven't really been open on what it's going to be, and if it's 30, that game's going to be basically unplayable. Just the pace that it moves at, it's going to be really hard to play that game at 30. I'll probably be playing it on my Series X just because,
We're not talking about Series X, bro.
But I will. That being said, I'll also play it on my phone on xCloud as well, just the convenience factor.
Okay. Cool. Let's check in with Holtz. Where are you playing this game?
Well, before I'd come on this panel, I thought I knew where I was going to play it, but now since Duncan mentions it's cheaper on Humble Bundle for GeForce Now, I am literally torn between where to play it. Because part of me's like, well, I would love to play it on Game Pass, but like I said, I wouldn't want to be playing on that low quality setting for the xCloud. Mm-hmm. I do believe in Stadia would be the best place for me to buy it, but part of me is like, well, I would love to see this game with ray tracing and stuff like that on GeForce Now at a cheaper price. Now that, like I said, Duncan's mentioned it, but part of me is like, I'm not sure, maybe they might not hit 60 FPS if they add all the full features and ray tracing. Maybe they'll add performance versus visual mode.
That's true.
So maybe I should wait close to the day to see which one I want to pick now. But cost is going to play a price going forward.
That's true. That's a good point. How about you, Jerry? Where are you picking this one up?
All right. So, well, everywhere, first of all. I mean, Jesus, it's Games Like Planet. I've got it on PS5, Xbox Series X, Game Pass, PC, Stadia. I mean, we're going to be doing it all. And to note your 720p thing with xCloud, something to understand for everyone is not only are we just in the beginning of cloud, each company is in a different stage. Just like Luna's been going slow, Microsoft's been going slow too. xCloud's still been in beta for the most part.
Yeah.
And that 720p was intended for this little guy right here. So it's not great, but it's doable. 720p is not for a TV. It's not for a PC monitor. It's not even really for a larger laptop or tablet screen. Their whole niche, their whole goal in the beginning was to be testing this on Android phones and iPhones, but iPhone got canceled. So half of their beta got the launch. So they only got to put the product on half the devices they planned to. So, but it was going to be a phone-only thing until they got to this 1080p PC app, which is going to go from the test app to a PC app to browser support, working on Xbox phones and everything like that. That's our in-between upgrade. That's what's going to be happening. And then when they get to our Series X blades, now we're looking at Stadia. I don't want to say that, but quality, the possibilities for the 4K, the HDR, all that. They are not to that process just yet. xCloud is still very much what GeForce Now was for PC users as an add-on. xCloud is still a free add-on to experience cloud and its potential, but not what it's meant to be yet from Microsoft. So while we are going to sit here and compare all of them, they're not on equal footing yet. And I think next year is going to be a lot more fun to compare a lot of these services because everybody should be out of beta by then. Everybody should be like on some pretty good hardware. So right now it gets really difficult. I'll be playing on Series X just like Ben. That's where my personal gaming is going to happen for Outriders. But I'll be testing it everywhere and playing it on Stadia, at times and things like that, and GeForce Now. But I think because of the ray tracing features and things like that, I think GeForce Now is going to be a pretty popular place, just like Cyberpunk, to go play that game, especially for people that don't have the hardware.
True. Yeah, thanks for all of that, Jerry, for sure. Duncan, where are you picking this one up?
It was too much. It was too much, right?
No, it's good. I love it. Go.
Yeah, Jerry just explains it all nicely there. If there was a gun put to my head and I had to buy it on one platform, it would be GeForce Now. You know what you're going to probably get there, and you could tweak the features, even though it's free or. Yeah, we always say free on Game Pass, but I think everybody knows what we're talking about there. If you're going to pay on xCloud, I think you're going to need a bit of a boost there. Stadia with the pricing of that as well. I have a horrible feeling we're going to get 4K 30 and 1080 60 as the two options there with the balance mode. And why haven't they showed us off any Stream Connector? Because that could tip people over the edge and go, I want to buy that 100% on Stadia, because that is something which could be a real game seller for them and a platform seller. But again, if I was going to buy any of it, it would probably be on GeForce Now. But like Ben and Jerry, I will be playing mine on my Series.
Goodness, you guys.
my Series X, but I wasn't convinced of the demo, so there's that as well.
Good to know. So, just you saying that with the performance mode, I do think, if the game does run, performance mode at 60 with 1080p is then equivalent to GeForce Now, right? And then you get an RTX at 1080p with you. So that's quite interesting. Trying to play that game, someone was saying that on here at 30 I don't think that game was intended for 30. So if you're hoping for 4K, that might be a reality check for you. But yeah, okay, cool. Did we get to you, Mark? Okay, where are you picking this one up at?
I'm potentially leaning towards GeForce Now, because I really enjoyed the demo. I played for it twice with different people because I wanted to get more people involved. I'm excited to see how GeForce Now handles the entire game. Obviously, being on the founders tier with the RTX stuff, I've got a feeling it actually won't be long until we're trying this on xCloud officially through Windows and through the browser. I think it was leaked last month. We still haven't got confirmation, but it's from pretty good sources that Xbox will be doing what's new in gaming on the 23rd next week, where Cloud is expected to be kind of front and center. Duncan has insider knowledge, so that I don't.
No, it was announced yesterday. Again, I'm going to make a joke here. It is just a joke. They're announcing more games than is coming to Stadia this year. They're announcing 100 indie games next week, next Friday. It's an indie game event.
These
Now,
are not good competition.
I
You're
was-
playing it to GeForce now.
I was expecting an official date at some point for, especially because, like, even if you're on Twitter, we saw pictures of like Daddy Phil playing it on a Surface Pro X in the airport. Yes, I called him Daddy Phil. Let's all just move past that. So yeah, I was expecting a confirmed date for that. Now I'm not sure. So yeah, I'm thinking GeForce now.
Cool. I still got Anthem. I think you mean PTSD, right? Okay. Cool. Chase, where are you picking this one up at?
All right. So if we're talking cloud, we'll go with that first.
Okay.
So it'll be on Stadia, but I'm going to be very authentic, and it's something that everyone has already said here, and I'm going to be the one that kind of rips the Band-Aid off. Square Enix had an event surrounding performance of this game and showed everywhere that it was running and what it ran at, and the one place we saw nothing on was Stadia. And my question is, and this is where I come back to this all the time, is who is holding this back? Is it the publisher or is it Stadia? Because there's been this, you all know what I'm saying. We've seen situations where it's Google that holds things back, and then we've seen situations where the publishers hold something back. And then Google always says, well, it's up to the publisher to decide. Well, but your action said otherwise over here. So I'm really just in kind of a holding pattern, because we're at a point now in the development cycle of that game. We should know something by now. We should know, is it running at 4K 60 or is it running at 4K 30? And the fact that we don't, that's a concern to me. So eventually, Square Enix has made the promise that this game will have cross progression. So I'm still going to pick it up on Stadia, so that at the point that it does become cross progression, I'll have the ability to have convenience in playing it. But for the moment, and now I'm going to flip it, I'm going to be playing it on the Series S, because that's confirmed 4K 60. So I will be picking it up on Stadia. I'm still buying it. I'm just not going to play it there yet until I see what the performance is, but moreover, until there's cross progression.
Okay, so so Chief taught me a lesson, because I thought it had cross progression, and again, I might be wrong, but it doesn't, right?
No.
Because so this is
cross play right now, but no cross progression. So that is something that they have said that they're actively going to work towards later this year, but it's not right now their number one item that they're focused on.
Okay, which sucks, right? Because again, if you're playing this in GeForce now, you can't pick up where you like. It's crazy that they launch them without. Anyway,
that's where Ubisoft is ahead of the game, because jumping PlayStation to Xbox to Cloud to Stadium, playing Valhalla, and having my game right there. We need that for every game.
Beautiful, yeah, for sure. How about you, Monkey? Where are you picking this one up at?
Well, sort of like Duncan, I wasn't too impressed with the game on the demo. Yeah, it sort of felt like a sort of combination of all the previous, sort of little shooter type games, sort of thrown together. The cutscenes really annoyed me until I found out why they have so many cutscenes in, and then it sort of makes more sense. So that was fine. But I'm going to throw an idea out here. So we know we have this Xbox event next week, and with the previous video that they just released, their official walkthrough of cloud gaming, they said that it's coming to PC and iOS. They said early this year, and we're coming into the second quarter now. I think that we are going to see Outriders launching April 1st, only on console and xCloud, and I think that's when xCloud is going to release onto the 1080 instead of 720, and then we'll see, how much better the performance is. But as for where I was to pick that up, if I had to pick it up, it would be on PC to play on GeForce Now, just because we do not know, what it's going to run like on Stadia right now, because you want to have best of both worlds. You want to get 4K 60. I don't want to play at 1080 60. If I want to play at 1080 60, I'm going to get a better quality on GeForce Now. So Yeah, it'd be GeForce Now for me.
Cool. Yeah, it's quite interesting. Did we get everyone's take on where you getting this game at? Okay. So me personally, I think it was Duncan that said the 4K 60. No, the 4K 30, and I didn't think about that. And realistically, see most games that has come out for this platform, that has been the case, right? If you want performance, it's 1080 60. If you want visuals, it's 4K 30. And my goodness, I cannot play this game at 4K 30. So that has me thinking. I really was gonna get it for Stream Connect and Stadia, but I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna see how this performs. I'm gonna let Jerry and Chief do the whole testing and see what this game really has to offer. But I'm gonna wait now. I actually was gonna pre-order this like ASAP, but now I'm questioning things with performance and Stadia. But yeah, I think this was a good discussion for sure. But let's talk about more xCloud news. So EA Play was released for PC, right? 60 games they claimed is coming to PC Game Pass through EA Play. And I was like, when I read that news, I was like, my goodness, Microsoft is just trying to kill it at it, like on every stage. But then it got me thinking, how sick would this be if this came to the cloud eventually as well, right? We're talking about like 68 games in the cloud. That we already have some now, but I would love to have that catalog of games in the cloud. And so my thing is, do you guys feel like we'll see those games eventually come to the cloud? And if so, how excited are you guys for that? So to get started, Ben, let's get your take on this.
I think they will come to xCloud. I think they're waiting for xCloud to be better first.
Like performance wise?
For a lot of those EA games, you need better performance than what xCloud has to offer at the moment. Once we see that go, I think that it'll be pretty quick. They'll all be on xCloud.
Okay, fair enough. So are you saying, because I think Jerry mentioned this, there's going to be like a midway point with, just 1080p and then eventually to Series X Blade with 4K. Are you saying the 4K upgrade, or do you think we'll see it like sooner than?
Well, that depends. With 1080p, aren't they going to be testing Series X Blades with 1080p first before they upgrade it to 4K? I thought that's what I had seen, but I could be wrong.
Because right now they're, if you get the PC, this 1080, my assumptions that's still Series S. No, the Xbox One S blades, right?
Yeah, you're still getting the One S 1080. They've just upped that stream on there. But I knew as soon as I loaded it up, that's One S texture resolution.
Right.
That's not even one X. So yeah, you're not going to see that jump past the 1080 till they get the Series X blades, and the 1080 is definitely not those yet. I think they're working on the streaming side and getting that smoothed out.
I would say EA on xCloud. Then we'll have to wait until the Series X blades are on there.
Okay, fair enough. Mark, what's your take? When do you think we'll be seeing it, or if we'll see it?
I think we will. Again, pretty much what Ben said. I think it goes down to performance. I think we've seen in the past, or from other platforms where EA titles are available, I think it's safe to assume that EA aren't one of these publishers who are afraid of the cloud, or afraid that cloud services performances will degrade the quality of their games and people will think their games are bad. We're not really seeing any of that, so I've got no doubt that even if it's not the full selection, at least some of the more popular ones, the sports ones, the Star Wars ones, probably even because within EA they've got a lot of the what I'd almost consider like mobile games, like Plants vs Zombies and things like that. Crap like that is always going to end up on the cloud, because especially for the handheld phone variation of it. It's such an easy thing to kind of jump in and out of, and the control scheme, that's one I can see being a big one for like on-screen controls and things like that. So yeah, no doubt we'll see at least some of these. As to when, potentially, as we were saying, after the Series X blade upgrades, maybe, as I said, the like Plants vs Zombies, I don't think there's anything stopping that one. So we'll maybe see a few of those drip through before. But the larger ones, your Star Wars, Jedi Fallen Order, things like that, I would say that would be after Series X.
Okay. Good to know. Good to know. So what's your take on this? When
I'm in two minds of things. This really annoyed me this week when I seen these games coming to Game Pass, because part of me was like, it was so diverted, and part of me was like, I love Nier Automata, and I love the likes of Octopath Traveler. And when I saw that, which is supported by Square Enix, I thought to myself, Square, you can bring us Dragon Quest, but you can't bring these to the cloud. Then, which made me think, well, if Square Enix is not going to do it, then I don't believe EA is going to do it. So I was like, EA, why didn't you bring Star Wars Squadrons? Because I really would like to play it. And when I see it only PC only, I was like, once again, you're fracturing me here within Game Pass. Because I'm like, well, if Sega can bring Yakuza 6 as well to cloud, console, and PC, you've got no excuse in my eyes when it comes to the games that I like and publishers. So I'm a bit disheartened with the publishers' move this week. I want to see it all as an option to cloud, and that doesn't matter if it's EA, Square Enix, Capcom, whatever.
Yeah. So I'll just echo what you said. When I saw this, I just read the headline. My mouth just dropped. I was like, holy crap. This is, and the first was the previous week with Bethesda game, 17 of them come. I thought like we're getting 60 games to like the cloud. I was like, yo, they're killing it right now. But then I read it was only for PC. I was like, fragmentation, here we go, all over again, right? So, but Jared, what's your take on this, man?
We've talked about the fragmentation stuff before, and again, being so just starting off in cloud, what Ben and Mark are saying is one part of that, which is performance. The one that's especially something like Star Wars Squadrons, it's not going to look good being streamed to you with a console like that. So there is a performance side, but I think something that probably Chase can speak to even more deeply than I can too is the digital rights distribution, the ability to stream these games to you at all. Microsoft has already said they want to make it to where any game you purchase, you can stream from xCloud just like you can from your Xbox. I mean, Duncan talk about that feature all the time. We game stream all our games from Series X. So they can't even take games you own that aren't first party, put them in the cloud and stream them to you. There's a lot of legal jargon that has to happen for all that to come to fruition. So not only do they got to get to performance where it needs to be, they've got to work on all the legal issues as well. They've said they want all the games you purchase in the future to be able to be streamed from xCloud. I think that's their first step, and then trying to onboard more and more games. But I think you're always going to have someone that says, no, don't put my game there, or at least for a little while.
True. Good point. Sucks, but good point. Duncan, what's your take on this?
Obviously, we don't want fragmentation, but you're always going to get fragmentation with Game Pass, especially with the PC. I'm going to bring up a game which has been mentioned in the chat, which is a great Wii game, Command and Conquer Remastered. You won't be able to play that on console. So we are always going to get some form of fragmentation. It's going to be disappointing for people, but I'm not too worried about this. The Game Pass for PC, again, I would say the vast majority of them are on console anyway, and so I'm pretty sure some of them are in cloud as well. Is Madden still in the cloud? Madden 20 is still in the cloud.
Yes.
Obviously, we do just want to get to the phase where everything's all together, and I can see that happening or some sort of announcement this year that everything's going to sort of tie up. I think we're going to get an announcement in the next couple of weeks, maybe next week, in the lead up to this. The game announcements later about xCloud going 1080p, going on the iOS, going on to PC, and I think we're going to get an E3 announcement or whatever conference we're going to do that. They're going to have a big, massive push for cloud at that, and we're going to get play anywhere, buy games everywhere, and just off you go.
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. I would give them credit though. The games that they do have on Game Pass right now, 3A, it's actually pretty decent. Like you stated, Madden, The Sims, Dragon Age. But again, it'd be nice to get the others though. But let's get to Chase. What's your take on this?
Jerry beat me to it, man. I already saw the way he was talking about it and where I was going to go with it. So he's spot on. There's two elements to this. I want to talk about to lead off with what Jerry was talking about, and then I want to talk about one other part that I think is an actual interesting equation to this. Something I touched on earlier is there are contractual obligations with a lot of this stuff, and digital rights distribution has a lot to do with it. And one thing that's going to be very interesting, and there's been a couple of industry leaders actually retweeted an article this past week. I can't think of the name of the person right now, but you're seeing a lot of companies right now, and I'm talking about publishers, are looking to do their own cloud streaming services. And rather than putting it onto a platform, they don't want to do that. They're like, you can have the console version, the PC version, but cloud, nah, we're gonna retain the rights to that. That's gonna be us. So you saw the investment that Square Enix put into Ubisoft. That's not a mistake. That's intentional. And EA in the past has been doing their own testing with Project Atlas, with who? AWS, with who? Amazon. So there's a lot of this stuff that's being done in the background where you can see these little chess moves that are happening. And I think I talked about this on a previous podcast, Ace, when I was on here, that you're going to see a lot of these publishers do what you're seeing with Disney Plus, Discovery Plus. Yeah. They're going to deliver games directly to consumers rather than having to use platform holders. And that's why Microsoft and Sony are freaking out, because they don't want to be what? No. We're still needed in this space. Don't remove us. Like, don't do that to us. Yeah. But the other thing that I think is the interesting point to this is to the EA Play question. I actually think where you're going to see this movement happen relatively fast. And I could be very wrong on this. This is solely an opinion. But again, it comes back to emerging markets. When xCloud starts moving into these big spaces where, again, there's no existing platforms, they're going to push every bit of content they can in those places. So I think you're going to see kind of that cloud revolution, if you will, really start to pick up for all of these platforms and services. Once you start seeing, again, India, Australia, South Korea, Japan, you're really going to see that content really come to fruition at that point, I think. Because we're already, they know what our market is here. We're split. It's a dedicated device ecosystem with both the US and most of Europe. But those emerging markets, man, that's going to be where the focus is going to be when they get into those.
Interesting. Thanks for your take for sure on that situation. Hell Monkey, what's your take on?
I don't really have anything to add. I think you guys have covered all bases. Really, nothing. Yeah, I got nothing. You guys have pulled everything that I was thinking about.
Cool. Sounds
Can I
good.
just add what's really interesting about what Chase was just talking about? Because we've said it too, and it could be Stadia's future business model, where all these companies are going to rent or lease server space, and they're gonna shoot you their game. I wonder if Chase talked to Amazon, or if Amazon already saw this coming, and that's why we have this channel model coming for Luna, because these companies could all do that and still add their channel to Luna and not lose any money. And you could still have all those individual apps and services, while Luna could be the only cloud company saying, yeah, we support that model. That's fine. You can do that. It's really interesting to see where that goes.
So that is what got me really excited. Like I told you guys last podcast, I've been playing a lot of Luna, and that was like the eye-opener for me. I can definitely see them being that platform that just gets all of them. Because again, it's what company is going to say no to that? It's a way for them to, like, Luna's making you money, right? Luna's providing the tech for you to just bring your game and distribute it. I mean, it's good stuff. They do take that route.
I'm just going to jump into something Chase was saying, because we were actually talking about something similar to this a couple of days ago, and Chase is now going to worry. What did I say to this absolute rocket? It is there is going to be. We're talking about. Can someone say the company, which Square?
Square Enix?
Yeah, it's Ubisoft.
Ubisoft.
Oh, yeah.
Who's providing their back end?
He's what?
Who's providing their back end? Who's providing the hosting?
Microsoft, sure.
Is it
Microsoft. Then you've got Amazon doing their own thing. We're going to have Google doing that. So we're going to be talking about these three big companies, no matter what, because they are going to be the ones holding all the chips. Again, the one to actually look out for, and I think it's just going to be the sleeping one, and we see it all the time, is Tencent. It's if Tencent starts to come over, that is one to look out for. But them three companies are the ones fighting over who is going to be the cloud winner. Even if it isn't their own services, if it's not going to be doing this, not going to be Stadia, it's not going to be xCloud, they are fighting over who is going to be hosting it at the very least.
That seems to be like the war to come, right? Who's going to get the hosting right, I guess. Interesting. All right, so we got 10 minutes. I just thought about this. We always talk about like giving an update to Shadow. We have Mark here. I want to use at least the last 5 minutes to just let us know what you know or have heard so far for Shadow. But before we do so, Mark, I do want to just talk about some of the games that are releasing for Xbox Game Pass or xCloud. So to get started, read it off here. So we have Undertale, which is coming to xCloud. It's not coming. It's available today. We have Empire of Sin, Cloud Console PC, March 18th. Nier Automata PC. Again, this is also available for the cloud, March 18th. Star Wars Squadron, Console EA Play, 18th. Torchlight 3 PC, 18th. Genesis Noir, Console PC, 25th. Octopath Traveler, Console PC, March 25th. Pillars of Eternity 2, March 25th. Holy crap. I didn't know there was all these games. Yakuza 6, Cloud, Console PC, 25th. Narrator Boy, Cloud, Console PC, 30th. Outriders, April 1st. Oh, all right. So those are the games coming to Game Pass. Just want a quick take on what are y'all's thoughts on these games. Anyone just hop on if you have anything to say about these games. Me personally, I think they're incredible. But what's your take on it all?
It's good. Game Pass is on fire.
Okay, cool.
Extremely excited for Octopath Traveler because it's one I always wanted to check out, but for a Switch game, it was always ridiculously overpriced for me. But it's supposed to be one of the most like highly rated JRPGs, so I'm very excited to give that a try when it comes next week.
I own that on Stadia, and it's so much fun to play.
Yeah, game is awesome.
It's a great game, for sure. Yakuza 6, though, Cloud. That's what I'm really excited about, man.
Yeah, we're seeing all the Yakuzas on Cloud really excites me. That's like 7 titles so far, 0 to 6. So that really excites me. And that's why I wanted the likes of Nier Automata and Octopath Traveler. Even though I've got it on the Switch, I just love to see it on the cloud.
Yeah.
If I can play them games on my tablet versus on Game Pass on my phone, I'll well be grinding these RPGs.
Yeah.
Clint's got some games he wanted.
Yeah.
Well, the whole point is it's not really that I want it, because at the moment using PC is sort of an escape for me. If that said cloud, definitely.
Yeah. Cool. Anyone else in these games before we get to Shadow?
I was just going to mention the fact that the variation in the games, there's something there, for every type of gamer. So there is, I've sort of covered all bases there with the amount of games that's coming. And landing, what has landed and what's coming towards the end of the month, which is always good for the consumer.
Yeah.
And I just want to add something I think is worth noting as well. The amount of games coming minus the amount of games leaving, there's always an increase, it seems, at this moment in time. There's more games getting added rather than getting taken off.
Yeah. That's a good. So leaving soon, we have Hyperdot, Journey to the Savage Planet. I wonder why. And I can never say this game. Machinarium. My goodness, forgive me for butchering that name. But yeah, those are the games leaving. So only 3 compared to all of this that are coming. So you're right on that. All right, that's it for xCloud Game Pass. So Mark, fill us in, man. What have you been hearing in the industry when it comes to what's going on with Shadow so far?
Absolutely nothing. I know. I could have treated that like a big reveal. Usually where we'll have like these ongoing conversations about things that are in the pipeline. This one is very different, being an ongoing legal situation. Like I imagine it's like NDA to hell. Like I have certain agreements with them, but nowhere near am I allowed access to this kind of stuff. So. So I have nothing on that front. The rumor mill, however, was that in terms of potential interested parties, OVH Cloud, server company, was interested in possibly picking them up. The other week they had a fire at one of their Paris data centers, which destroyed the entire building. So it's now a case of, did they lose a lot of money and now cannot afford to venture into that, or now they desperately need some additional hardware, so this would be a good get for them. So I'm kind of torn on how that will impact that moving forward. If they were even the interested party, we still don't know. Who else is in the mix? What else is going to be happening with that? So yeah, last week the only other thing was lots of weirdly enough for the situation that they're in, just lots of performance enhancements and new feature rollouts. Which we want to talk about that?
Sure, quickly.
We've got dual screen support rolling out into beta. That'll be coming for Windows, Mac, Linux, and should be added to Test Flight soon. Once it's on Test Flight, one of the best examples I've seen of this is USB-C cable from the iPad to a monitor, and then dual screening it on an iPad so that you can have that kind of seamless setup is pretty cool. 444 support, that is chroma subsampling. This one goes over some people's heads. It's basically the full, when it comes to video encoding and streaming, it's the full color palette essentially. So what we get today is more like 442. You lose a bit of color through the encoding decoding process. So 444, basically red will be more red. You get lots more color come through. It's not quite HDR. It's different to HDR. But it will be an improved video quality. That being said, it will require more bandwidth because it's a higher stream. So it's kind of like streaming a YouTube video at 1080 versus 4K. It's gonna require a bit more internet power behind it. That one will be coming to alpha soon. I don't think there's a confirmed date for that. And the last one is, I believe it's already out in production, is Performance V3. Again, it's like in terms of like their features, it's not always something that is visible and clickable and something that you'll actually be able to interact with. A lot of times it's just good stuff in the background. So Performance V3, again, it's it's something to do with modifying the virtualization layer, which is something that within the process of virtual machines, there is a virtualization layer. That's about as far as my knowledge on that goes, but the end result is increased FPS specifically, or especially with CPU heavy games or applications, you'll see a better FPS. So it's kind of weird that they're in this situation where everything should be at a hold. It's kind of like a couple of weeks ago, this big announcement. Week after, here's features. Have some more features. So which is good. If everything stopped, it would cause more concern. The fact that it's business as usual, I think alleviates maybe some of that concern.
And kudos to them, because if you guys don't remember, they gave us a roadmap earlier this year saying these are what we bring to the platform. And with all this negative news, they could have easily just said, we're not. It's kind of a bummer because they halted the fact that we're going to be getting our Infinite and Ultra. But apart from that, it's business as usual. They're just going along with the plans that they created. So again, shout outs and kudos to them for continuing the roadmap. It's pretty impressive. But anyway, guys, we are currently out of time. We did it. Holy crap. Sorry, y'all. This was a 14-page outline of topics to discuss for this podcast. And we were debating how we were going to get it done, but we got it done. So appreciate all you guys just chiming in. This was a good conversation. But just want to give room for you guys to just plug your channels and let people know what you're doing, where they can find you from. So go ahead, Holtz.
Holtz86 on Twitter. Come and say hi, drop me a link or anything.
So what's going on with the channel? Where are you with that?
Oh, I don't know. I'm in mixed emotions at the moment, you know what I mean? But I really do like playing on cloud gaming, so I've got all the platforms, so I could actually just reignite that passion and maybe jump in.
Okay. Let us know when you do, man. Support that. Ben, what do you do, sir? Where can people find you?
You can find me, beside it is my name on the screen. Find me on Twitter, Discord, and all these guys' servers. I'm in everybody's YouTube channels as well, just lurking at the very least, so you can at least try and tag me in there and see if I'm on. But yeah, I'm the social guy. So,
did you come up with a name for yourself yet, like the Yoda? Something?
No, I have not. I'll let you guys come up with stuff if you want to.
Chat. This joke going on. We're trying to name Ben, so you guys let us know what we should call him. For everything he does, with just being involved with everyone's Discord and chats. So think of a name for Ben. It'll be fun. How about you, Jared? What do you do? Where can people find you?
First of all, I subbed to Holtz 2 months ago, and I've not gotten one video. I'm just saying.
Well, at this rate, you're all going to become on guest. You're going to be all on guessing, and you'll be actually teaching to play Let's Plays on GeForce now.
But yeah, just Game Tech Planet on YouTube and at Game Tech Planet on Twitter, Cloud Console, PC. We're doing it all.
Good stuff, man. Make sure you check them out, man. Awesome stuff. How about you, Duncan? What do you do and where can people find you?
I get shouted on Twitter at Wonderscape, but I just want to plug Creative Games. We are doing a Valheim giveaway. So if you check out our Twitter, I've got that pinned there, so you can play that on GeForce now. So we're going to give that away for people.
Man, I was hoping you wouldn't bring that up. I wanted to keep my chances higher.
That's awesome. How about you, Mark? What do you do and where can people find you?
Yeah, Mark Watts VOG over on YouTube and Twitter. YouTube is Cloud Gaming News, VR stuff, which I've got some pending things. And if you want to be scarred for life over on TikTok, it's Mark VLG for some very disturbing 3D prints. Maybe I should just go to that full time, because my last TikTok, I'm not gonna lie, got 500,000 views. What? And is growing.
What did you do, Mark? What did you take off for that video?
Hang on. I'll have to show it. And I'm aware this is an audio format, so I'm sorry to anyone listening. But for video people, you stick Thomas's face on things and creep him out. So there's Thomas after a hard day of being a train, and this one is Sponge Tom Train Pants.
That is awesome. Check out Mark's TikTok, y'all. That's crazy that it's taken off like that. It's awesome. Good stuff. How about you,
I'll
Chase?
drop it.
Yeah, drop in the comments. How about you, Chase? What do you do? Where can people find you?
I don't know that I can top that. First, check out everybody here. They all do amazing stuff, both on Twitter and social media. Social media and their YouTube channels and their content. So make sure you show everybody love. But you can find me over on the Gaming Advocate YouTube channel. Just search that on YouTube. You can also follow me on Twitter at Phantom UFC Fan. And I only do a weekly show. So it's every Saturday morning, 9 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time, Saturday morning coffee talk. We talk about all things, both cloud gaming and gaming, talk about consumer advocacy and the business and marketing lens. So if you're interested in those kind of topics and consumer advocacy pieces, it's definitely a great place to come stop by. It's an open conversation.
Good stuff, man. Love what you do for sure. And Monkey, Hell Monkey, do you want to give your just introduction to what you do?
Yeah, I do have a YouTube channel, but to be honest, there's not much going on there right now since I came on board. I'd just like to say, listen, guys, Chase deserves so much more subscribers than he's got. You guys have got to go over and check that out. I mean, every week I learn something new every week, so yeah, go over there. But for the purposes of CGX, I would just like to point people in a direction of the Twitch channel, where I'm going to be trying to live stream some more gameplay and throw your questions at us. Ace and Chief will be in the chat to help out with answering them and just have fun playing games,
Cool. Thank you. So just want to give a shout out to all you guys again. Good stuff. But we have a guest for next week, and I'm just gonna put him on blast because he probably didn't know this was gonna be happening. But Ray's gonna be our guest for next week, and it's gonna be interesting to pick his brain about just all the cloud gaming conversations and discussions. So Ray, it's gonna be fun to put you here and just get your take on the cloud gaming news. So that should be fun. All right, fellas, appreciate you guys. Again, this is going to be available in audio format on Anchor, so check that out if you guys are interested. But we'll be back here next Saturday at 2 p.m. There's supposed to be some crazy cloud gaming news happening this week, so it should be fun to just go over some of that stuff and talk about it. All right, fellas, appreciate you guys. We'll catch you guys next week. Next time. Peace out.